Hello everyone and welcome to another high-low game of Age of Empires. Today we've got a battle of the discounted town centers as Overtaken, playing as the Incas in red, gets ready to duke it out with the Viper, playing as the Britons in blue. Now all the players heard their hurdles, explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Undiscovered sheep. Not a bad opportunity for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Now, the Incas, the quintessential counter civilization. To counter cavalry, they can rely on their first unique unit, the Kamayuk. This is a ranged infantry unit that carries a very, very long spear and comes with a massive attack bonus against all manner of mounted units. To counter infantry, well, the Incas can rely on their other unique unit, the Slinger. This is an archer unit that comes with a pretty big +10 attack bonus against infantry. Now, to counter archers, the Incas can rely not only on their eagles, but also on their skirmishers, which not only get all archery range, blacksmith, and university upgrades, but can also be upgraded to have no minimum range whatsoever, which does remove one of the big weaknesses of the skirmisher. Now, to make their army last a little bit longer on the field of battle, no, the Incan government does not distribute Viagra to its military units. Instead, they can upgrade their Kamayuks, their Slingers, and their Eagle Warriors to get extra melee and pierce armor. All that pierce armor might be bad news bears for an archer civilization like the Britons, but in any event, to help them build and support their military-industrial complex, all Incan military units cost less and less food as the game goes on, 10% cheaper in Dark Age, all the way up to 25% cheaper in Imperial. They start the game, for those eagle-eyed viewers who may have seen underneath the TC, with a free llama, which doesn't sound like much, but does give you an extra unit to explore the map with early on. And at the end of the day, once you get your fire pit going, it does give you a little bit of free food. Now, all Incan buildings cost 15% less stone. Their houses support 10 population instead of the usual 5, which is why you see we've got 25 population space compared to the usual 15 with only 2 houses. And their villagers can be harder to raid because starting in the Castle Age, they do benefit from all infantry blacksmith upgrades. And BT dubs, if you take a look at the top left of your screen, you'll notice that the Incas get all infantry blacksmith upgrades. Now let's take a look at someone who might be looking to kill some of those Incan villagers. We got the Viper playing in blue to the north as the Britons, a civilization that's built around supporting their ranged units. Briton archery ranges work 10% faster. Their foot archers, except for skirmishers, get free extra range in Castle and then even more free range in Imperial. And if that's not enough vitamin R for you, all of their foot archers can be upgraded to get +1 range on top of everything I just mentioned. Now, all of this extra range is fantastic news for their unique unit, the Longbowman. This is a pretty decent foot archer, one that comes with a massive 12 tiles of range. That is a lot of range once fully upgraded. Now, Briton Trebs are also some of the most powerful in the game because they can be upgraded to do not only blast damage, but also have 100% accuracy against stationary units. And I've said this before, woe unto you if you are a villager repairing an enemy Treb against a Warwolf Treb. Not only does the Briton Treb land every single hit on you, but the villagers are basically, they're basically dead meat with all that blast damage that happens. Now, to support their military production, Briton town centers cost 50% less wood, and their shepherds work 25% faster than normal. So those are the two civilizations we've got. Pretty excited for this matchup. I'm always curious to see how an archer civilization does against the Incas. Now, the Incas, much like the Gurjaras on paper, seem like an incredibly tough nut to crack, an incredibly powerful civilization to go up against. Doesn't matter if you go infantry, cavalry, archers, it seems like they've always got an answer to everything that you've got. And so maybe the name of the game here is momentum for the Viper, who is currently housed. Very unfortunate, but doesn't really affect him as of yet because he is going up to the Feudal Age. 0 seconds of idle time for him. 1 extra villager, which means, what are we looking here? Loom should be gotten for both players by now. Yeah, so just a 25-second difference or so going up to the Feudal Age. But like I said, will the Viper play reactive? Will he play active? Lately, we've seen him play. I was going to say be and play, and it came out as plea because there you go. The old brain particles and all, science and stuff. We've seen him play and plea very aggressive lately. And so I'm curious, he has discovered where his opponent is located on the map, or at the very least has seen some jacking operations here. He sees the primary gold as well. Our Inca, we know, knows where the Viper is because we saw that Eagle running around here, getting some good imagery, some good photographs, some recon for his team. Let's take a look at the attack path. Pretty long attack path between the two bases, pretty open in front of the Viper's base, pretty densely forested in front of our Incan base. So Overtaken has a bit more natural coverage here, although against an Archer civilizations, choke points are not your friend. Speaking of, let's take a look at resources. Both Tesla stone and pile of gold primary to the forward position for our Inca. He's got an extra patch of gold very forward, and this is where the dense foliage can actually bite you in the ass, because unlike the Viper, who I see has a few patches of resources in the front, there's no obstacles here, whereas there is a big forest in the way here for our gold mining operations. He's got a bit of extra stone off to the side and a bit extra gold to the back, so not terrible. Forests also 1, 2, 3, kind of, let's say 4. Let's say 3. This one's a little bit too far away. We'll see how many the Viper has nearby, 3 or 4. In any event, 3, 4 doesn't really matter what the number of thy counting will be. It looks like they are in a decent spot in the forward position. And look at this. I love this by Overtaken. I love this move. If you're not familiar with Overtaken, by the way, fantastic Estonian player. This is amazing. He does not want to give up the high ground. How many players would have just dragged a palisade this way? Although the dragging operation on Age of Empires is not fantastic. I can only make a square. I mean diagonally. He does not give up the high ground. So he can defend this with a high ground ranged unit that will do 25% more damage. This is fantastic. I love little plays like that. Let's take a look at the Viper. We saw he has a bit of extra stone to the front. Primary gold exposed in the front, primary stone to the back. And he's got also, like our Inca, an extra patch of gold off to the back and an extra patch of gold very far off. Ooh, that is very far off campus there. But we'll see. For now, it is the Inca who is putting on pressure. And to be fair, the Britons can respond in kind. If your opponent goes Eagle Warriors, for example, as the Incas sometimes do, well, there's nothing finer than an infantry unit, a militia line unit, to kill the Eagle, because they come with massive attack bonuses against Eagle Warriors. And when we're looking at infantry, the Britons, pristine. As much as they're an archer slash range civilization, as I like to classify them, as basically, well, not just me, basically everybody, they have a absolute pristine, perfect infantry roster. They have every single upgrade available for their infantry. Nothing unique, you know, no Bilbo Baggains like the Bulgarians, for example, but pretty damn near perfect. If not perfect, to be honest, if we're not including unique techs. Looks like our Inca, forget the forward portion of the base, he's attacking right into the rear, wants to disrupt some of this lumberjacking, but unfortunately these are just skirmishers. And so after all of that, look at the HP, a little bit here, a little bit there. Maybe had he concentrated on the same villager over and over, he could have gotten maybe a villager kill. I don't know. Let's see. Are they down 40 HP? No, they're down 30 HP. So even if he had focused on one villager, he wouldn't have gotten that villager. That just shows you the weakness of your average everyday feudal age army. But oh, he might lose a spearman here because a skirmisher, because his spearman is nowhere close, and it looks like it's been tethered to the Eagle. And he does first kill of the game by the Viper, drawing first blood as the skirmisher lies dead. Now, unfortunately for the Viper, they can't really get too much done here, maybe. That being said, I'm looking at the HP on the spearmen, and these skirmishers do come with a decent +3 attack bonus against spearmen, which is huge. I've mentioned in the past in Feudal Age. But a reinforcing contingent will shoot the Viper away as much as he would love to stick around. Now his skirmishers are up at bat, and they get a home run, getting a kill themselves. And what's the HP on these units? Damn, look at that HP. The Viper, near perfect HP. Scout gets a kill, skirmishers gets a kill, everybody participates, everyone's happy, everyone gets their medals and their trophies. And that's it. The players disengage. Populations for villagers, identical at 35. Our Inca does have a little bit of a army advantage, 13-9. We are in the feudal, which means he's paying 15% less food. And these are all 3 unit types that cost food, whether it's 25, 35, or 25. Again, for the Eagle, this is all food. I mean, those are pre-discounted numbers, so you can do the math. whatever 85% of 25 and 35 are, that is what our Inca is paying, as he loses yet another unit here in the forward position. The Viper, by the way, is clicking up to the Castle Age. Hey, buddy, here to the bottom left. Get your ass into the battle. We need everybody. We need all hands on deck right now, because the Viper is just toying with us. What's the HP? Okay, not terrible. 235 to 208. Overtaken is on the high ground. The first kill should be imminent. The Viper's units are pretty clumped. And so even javelins, even spears or projectiles that land on the wrong unit do 50% damage. Not exactly a Rambai here that do 100% damage. And there we go. Arinka gets his first kill, gets his second kill, senses that there's some blood in the water, and now moves forward. Let's see how this all shapes up. The Viper does have 2 scouts, and that's it. No more spearmen means these 2 scouts, once they get rid of the eagle, are going to be able to run amok. But in the meantime, never mind, because Arinka has absolutely decimated the skirmisher count. Our Briton doesn't have a single ranged unit, and this is the entirety of the British expeditionary forces right now. 1 military count to 12. And the Viper, by the way, also down 4 villagers, but he will be hitting castle light years ahead of his opponent, which means he'll be able to train as many villagers as he wants, while Overtaken still does need about 1 minute 50 seconds. So basically 4 or 5 villagers training time to get up to Castle Age himself. Kill count 11 to 10. No villager has been harmed in the making of this video just yet. 2 extra TCs for the Viper, 1 next to a very small forest to the front, and 1 next to that primary gold. Let's see how well Overtaken sees. No, he doesn't see any of this, because the second he pushed in, cavalry archers and a knight pop out. Okay, all right. Nothing particularly special about the Briton cavalry archer. No unique features, I don't think. They also don't get Parthian tactics later on in the game, and like the Britons very famously don't get thumb ring as well. But what they do get is Bodkin. What they are on is the high ground, and there are 4 of them. Unfortunately for the Viper, this unit does take double bonus damage here and against both archer and cavalry archer. Oh, pardon me. Oh my goodness. I thought we were in Castle Age elite skirmishers. No. We are still in the Feudal Age for our Inca. So pardon me. Now the name of the game for Overtaken is stop this army from doing too much damage before you yourself can start getting your units and your bonuses. And there's the elite skirmisher upgrade. And once that kicks in, then we're going to have double bonus damage. And by the way, now that we're in castle, even the most basic of Eagle Scouts also comes with an attack bonus +2 against cavalry. And these knights are Briton. And because they're Briton, they don't get bloodlines, which means even a +2 attack bonus. How many eagles are there here? 5. That's 10 extra bonus. That's just bonus damage. 10 every time they attack and poke and prod. And now let's look at it. +4 archer, +2 cav archer. And the Viper should probably not be trading out here. He is going up to 5 town centers. Is the Viper behind this? Okay. He's now ahead 6 villagers, 7 villagers. He's down 8 army count. He is taking some very bad trades here. You can kill all these skirmishers and you still come out on the bottom, trading out your full price. Not exactly Hunnic cav archers. Extra TC to the rear, extra TC to this wood pile back here, but he hasn't secured the left side of his base. The Viper is not walling any part of this in any significant way, whereas our Inca with 1 town center aggression here, so he's gonna have to get some damage done. Otherwise, that Briton economy, it is going to absolutely overwhelm him. We'll see what our Inca decides to do, because unless I'm mistaken, he still hasn't seen all of the extra town centers. Definitely hasn't seen the ones to the back. He might see this one here if he presses in. I don't know why the Viper keeps pressing in with his silly cav archers, and there we go. He sees the second one. He's mere tiles away from seeing the third one. At the same time, his cav archers are trying to bust their way in here, but a single skirmisher should be enough to shoo them away. And here we go. The pressure is on. 1 TC push against not 1, 2, 3, not 4, 5 Briton town centers. The Viper very much making use of that 50% wood discount. If only you could combine the Bulgarian and the Briton wood discounts into a 50% cheaper town center, that would just be way too OP. Then you'd just be town center dropping every Dark Age, Persian style. Army count 22 to 12. Villager count, the Viper starting to run away with it, 73 to 51. Mangonel is coming out. Eagles are now warriors. Their attack bonuses improved by 1-1. Camel and cavalry. I always look at those together, even though I'm not really expecting camels out of our Britain. Not exactly a unit they get. Damage needs to be done here by our Inca. You need to get something done. You need to get something accomplished in a major way. Otherwise, the economic tsunami is going to overwhelm you. And here we go. Second Mangonel being trained. Eagles trying to bust their way into here. They have seen that third town center. This is where the lack of a scout unit that's not a bipedal, that's not an infantry unit, kind of hampers and hurts the meso civs. Any other civilization would have run in a scout by now, or a group of scouts, and have seen the extra town centers. Okay, he's doing exactly that, but he's sending 4 units, and they're going straight for the monks. Is it +6, +8, +8 against monks? And he gets all of the monks. Does lose 2 eagles. 2 eagles for those monks is not a bad trade at all. Reinforcements keep running across these cav archers and getting got. So now Overtaken has actually seen all 5 town centers. So he knows now the pressure is on. He's got literally what, 5-10 minutes? No, we've seen pro players do this before. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal. This is not a time to dump 275 wood when you need to be training mangonels. 85 stone, who cares? Doesn't matter. Remember, the Incan town centers, like all of their structures, are 15% cheaper stone cost. So that's why you went down from 200 to 115. So it kind of does screw them. It should, maybe 25 would be better, because then they can at least afford a town center and a tower, or maybe that's the whole point, that they can't afford both. 4 mangonels. This is much better here, but these 2 cav archers are still parked here. 1 mangonel falls to a mangonel, another mangonel falls to a mangonel. The knight did not manage to get a mango, but softened it up. Eagles continue entering into a town center firing zone, but little by little the Viper is holding. And not only is he holding, he's going longbowman. And not only is he going longbowman, our Incan is doing even worse. The worst thing he could do is add in another town center. This is, of course, all my opinion. If you see you're down 5 TCs, you need to get damage done. And honestly, I don't. It's so hard to think of which target our Inca should be targeting. Not to simplify it too much. Eagle versus longbowman. Longbowman luckily has cover fire from the castle. But what the, excuse me, what should our Inca target here? I don't know. Do you go after military? Do you go after civilian? I mean, civilian seems a bit weird, since your opponent can pretty much replace villagers 5 times faster than you could have. Well, 5 to 3 times faster now that you've got 3 of your own town centers up. Eagles will fight and die underneath that town center. Longbows, not exactly the strongest unit in the game, relying more on their range as opposed to being in your face like this. But the TCs are spread out well enough, garrisoned well enough, that they can actually take down these eagles. And now all of a sudden, the army from our Inca doesn't seem so scary. 5 eagles, 5 skirmishers. He needs to win the mangonel wars if he wants to keep this pressure. He can't keep losing mangonels. There we go. There is a villager in the forward position. What the hell is this? The Viper? I mean, come on. Shenanigans out of our Briton in blue. And this town center is still up. I feel like he just lost a mangonel here as well. Loses a second of the 3 mangonels, and now we'll lose a third of these longbowmen are left unchecked. No, they're going after the skirmishers now. So again, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't here as Overtaken. The Viper just... I mean, who would have expected him to go up to 5 TCs? High ground castle here does get discovered. Will it be too late? Probably. It's already at 90%. There is no way this castle is not going up. Will he lose a single villager? He does lose a single villager, but clears up the attack, and that's all she wrote. I mean, what the hell? What a wonky game. What an absolute wonky game. Who the hell expected the Viper to go up to 5 town centers? He's at 125 population. The Viper is basically playing as if he was fully walled in on a map that is designed to be a campaign map for economics of how many villagers can you get in 34 minutes. There's Yeoman, so it's going to improve the range +1 of all of his foot archers. And what are they at now? They've got Bodkin, so it means they +3 range instead of the usual 2, because this is a Briton archer that comes with extra free range. And I don't know, whenever we see pro players go 1 TC all in, the damage needs to be hard, it needs to be immediate, and it needs to be critical. And the second he saw all the extra TCs, a second TC, another TC, this is 550 wood that is not being spent on, I don't know, maybe a second siege workshop? Maybe mangonels out of those 2 siege workshops? And whether or not he took the better trades here with the mangonel wars doesn't really matter. Maybe monks with redemption could have pushed back the Viper while you took down TC after TC after TC. But at this point, honestly, the Viper has obtained critical mass, and there's very little that you can do. Like I said, if you go after civilian, if you go after economy, let's say the Viper even loses 2 town centers, he still has 3 TCs that he can pump 3 villagers out of at a time. If you go military, well, the Viper's economy just keeps growing and growing, and then he just replaces his military buildings, much like he can replace villagers, although his military buildings aren't that prolific here. 1 barracks, 1 stable, 1 siege workshop. Okay. 1 archery range. 2 castles, though, so this is going to be very much a longbow play out of the Viper, who, to be fair, going longbows against the Incas, whose Eagle Warriors can potentially get 10 pierce armor, is quite a flex, since the longbow does cap out at 11 attack, fully upgraded the elite, and so they would do 1 damage to this Eagle Warrior. But that's neither here nor there. Neither player really maximized any of their units at this stage. The game fairly short, but again, damned if you do, damned if you don't here as the Inca, who just didn't punish early enough. We've seen this with for example, Cuman's second TC. If you don't catch wind of that early enough, you don't punish it. And if you don't punish it early enough, like I said, hard and critical and fast damage you need to do. And the Inca was just bogged down here, mired in this attack against the town center, in this choke point that the Viper, I'm sure, was very happy to keep contesting with this primary gold as he took his secondary. Tertiary is now safe as well. Did he mine any of this? Yeah, he was actually mining this as well. So there you go. That's true. He did lose a villager or 2 here on the retreat. Wow. What a fantastic game out of the Viper here, just doubling down, battening the hatches, protecting his settlement from the monodirectional attack of our Inca, although he did try to fan out to the right, although too late for that. And at this point, your opponent's economy is more than 50% bigger than yours. And let's see what the numbers all shape up to be. The Viper lately with his hero-like 200 APM right in the middle of the game, peak APM also right in the middle of the game for Overtaken. Eagle, I mean, on paper, the Viper has no army. On paper, look at this. 41 Eagles, 32 Skirmishers. The Skirmishers are alone, 32 Skirmishers are enough to kill this entire Briton army. So Overtaken, again, not getting the damage that he needed done with the army that he had. Maybe different multi-directional attacks that prod in, right as I was talking about how the Mesosivs don't really have a unit that can individually run into the rear of a base like a scout or a light cav or a hussar and get some good scouting. When he shoved in those 4 Eagles and got the monk kill, that was pretty cool. But unfortunately, aside from that, these Eagles didn't really accomplish very much. Economically, only 4,700 resources, so just about 20% bigger economy for our Briton, who takes everything but the gold. Interesting, everything but the gold. Look at that. 2.5 castles, almost 3 castles difference in stone count. A little bit more food, a little bit more wood, and a little bit here, a little bit there, all add up to almost 20% bigger economy. 2 conversions, those are the Eagles that killed those monks. And let's take a look at the final kill count. Can't be very high, but still exciting. Our Inca killed 49 units, 11 of them villagers. And this is, again, those 11 can be replaced by the Viper with 5 town centers in 50 seconds. Well, 50 seconds plus another 25 to train one. 50 seconds. All of the damage that you've done can be undone in 50 freaking seconds. That is a blow to the crotch. 64 kills by the Viper, who played very defensively. Can't imagine he killed a single villager. And this one villager here that was pretty much brought with the attack to build the siege workshop and all these houses. By the way, how cool was that when the Viper sent a villager to attack while that other villager defended? That was pretty weird and bonkers, and pretty much shenanigans out of the Viper, as one would expect. Ultimately, though, the Viper just running amok with his economy. Our Inca failing to do critical damage hard and fast. And like I said, at this point, you're literally damned if you do, damned if you don't. Go after military, then the eco will overwhelm you. Go after the eco, then the military will show up, and more longbowmen are coming, and their range is not that bad. 8 range. They will outrange your mangonels soon. They will very much outrange your mangonels with yeomen. And once that comes into play, there's really not much that you can do. And let me know what you think. Did Overtaken take the foot off the gas a little bit too early with these 2 extra town centers? If you're going to do a 1 TC all in, then do a 1 TC all in. But 550 wood, definitely a good amount of resources that you could have used to at least build another siege workshop and then train mangonels out of both of them, and then maybe overwhelm your opponent. Doesn't really matter, whatever it is. This particular matchup goes to the Viper, who ends up holding against the Incan aggression, takes the W, but GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.